Hello, welcome to the Transcendent. In this video, we'll learn ARIA roles for complex web applications, how to use ARIA roles correctly, and what are ARIA roles? How does this function works? So, what are ARIA roles? ARIA, accessible rich internet applications. What an element does when native HTML semantics are encountered. Aren't enough. Why use it? Improves accessibility. Fixes semantic gaps. ARIA roles represent supplemental types of descriptive attributes that we can effectively integrate into standard HTML elements. This is done to provide them with richer semantic value and also to ensure the web browser accurately decodes what a specific item is intended to achieve. In an ideal scenario, employing an ARIA role would not typically be a necessary step for us to take. When we thoughtfully select and use the most appropriate HTML element for a given piece of information, we successfully transmit the correct semantic message regarding the inherent meaning of that content. However, circumstances are not always perfect, and there are occasions where we find ourselves needing to make certain concessions or adjustments within our website's markup structure. The situation becomes particularly problematic if such necessary compromises inadvertently render a website exceptionally difficult or entirely impossible for an individual living with a disability to navigate and utilize effectively. Indeed, it is important for us to remember that in a significant number of jurisdictions, there are legal statutes making it unlawful to develop and maintain a website that is not accessible to individuals with disabilities. So yes, the proper application and understanding of HTML can genuinely transform into a matter directly concerning fundamental human rights and equal access. This is precisely where ARIA attributes truly demonstrate their remarkable significance and vital role in enriching the user experience. The additional layer of information provided by ARIA effectively enlightens screen readers, braille displays, magnifiers, and a variety of other assistive technology systems with the crucial details they require, thus assisting in making a website fully usable and accessible to everyone regardless of their abilities. ARIA was initially developed at approximately the same period when a growing portion of the internet started to gradually substitute traditional native software applications. It is particularly advantageous for accomplishing the comprehensive functionality of an intricate user interface incorporated within a web application, ensuring that all individuals, without any exception, can efficiently and equally utilize it. Allow us to take a momentous look at an exceptional design illustration, meticulously crafted and designed to require a significant dose of supportive assistance, expertly leveraging the fascinating concept of ARIA roles to bring forth its full potential. We have recently utilized CSS Grid as a powerful tool to significantly stretch the conventional frontiers of graphic artistry and visual composition on various internet-based applications. For instance, we have adopted this specific heading 1, named the Transcendent, and have ingeniously employed CSS layout methods to arrange every single letter thereof into separate cells, each occupying a unique position upon distinct segments of the overall grid configuration. We have also utilized the flexible class to enable the header to grow and shrink with the respective text content, ensuring a highly dynamic flow within the web page. You could activate the developer tools and navigate to the specific tab labeled as Accessibility, which is among the most prominently visible tabs. Could you kindly proceed to enable this particular feature for our current examination? Through this interface, we gain direct and valuable insights into the underlying complexities of accessibility. Tree structure. We previously discussed the fundamental concept of the DOM tree in an earlier segment of our discussion. The accessibility tree represents a distinct, parallel hierarchical tree, which the web browser meticulously constructs based upon the website's inherent informational content. The browser initially processes the discovered, original HTML markup provided for the web page in a way that reflects the intended layout and structure of the web page. It then utilizes this processed markup as the primary basis to assemble the complete DOM tree structure. And subsequently, the browser then deliberately employs the newly constructed DOM tree to accurately generate the corresponding accessibility tree. This resulting accessibility tree is precisely the crucial data resource that various assistive devices heavily leverage to deliver a comprehensive and understandable user experience of the website. Most significantly, when utilizing a screen reader device, the content is incredibly easy to read and understandable for individuals with disabilities, ensuring that all individuals have equal opportunities to engage and participate in the content. Upon expanding this diagnostic section, we clearly observe its current comprehension. It perceives this particular content merely as a collection of numerous distinct and separate textual containers. Each of these containers is understood to hold a singular textual leaf node, which, in practice, might be articulated by assistive technologies as a disjointed sequence like the transcendent, essentially attempting to spell out the transcendent letter by letter. This, as we can all agree, results in a profoundly poor and frustrating user interaction for anyone relying on such aids. This specific, disjointed outcome is certainly not our desired objective or the intended user experience we aim to provide for our audience. We shall now proceed to rectify this identified issue effectively through the strategic implementation of appropriate ARIA attributes, thereby enhancing overall accessibility. Initially, as a primary corrective step, we will carefully incorporate the specific, coherent phrasing, the transcendent, which is intended for clear vocalization by the screen reader. This will be achieved by thoughtfully appending a descriptive aria-label attribute with the value, the transcendent, directly onto the relevant HTML, rather than directly attaching the text to the relevant HTML element, which would imply the inclusion of the entire headline within the specified element. We suggest that you create a textual group that represents the entire headline and place it within the appropriate HTML element that services the textual group. This approach will ensure the proper display of the headline while maintaining its structure and functionality. The aria-label attribute will be explicitly set to the transcendent. Subsequently, we will effectively integrate the intricate profusion of individual span elements and their separated letter forms, distributing them evenly throughout the word space without overlapping or cluttering, thereby ensuring the accessibility tree intentionally disregards them for a cleaner interpretation. Employing aria-hidden equals true on an element systematically removes that specific element. Moreover, along with all of its descendant child elements, which are entirely derived from the accessibility tree's perspective, it importantly remains present within the DOM tree. However, from the operational perspective of assistive devices, it is effectively non-existent, as if it were completely gone. The precise behavior is the reason why we are consciously deciding not to apply this particular attribute directly onto the H1 element itself. It's essential to recognize that it's not just about the element itself, but also about the context and the purpose for which it's being used. We fundamentally desire the H1 element to be properly recognized and interpreted by the accessibility tree, with its correct semantic meaning. We simply do not wish for all these numerous individual spans, each containing a single letter, to appear and be announced within that structure. Therefore, we have carefully encapsulated the problematic spans within a containing division element, so that we can appropriately place the aria-hidden equals true attribute specifically onto that division. Allow us to now take a moment to observe the direct result of implementing this thoughtfully considered structural and aria adjustments to our system. We proceed to refresh the web page and, quite satisfyingly, observe that all those individual letters previously housed in separate containers have now vanished from the assistive technology's perception. In their place, we are presented with an exceedingly clear, unambiguous, and coherent heading element, which effectively announces the transcendent, precisely as intended. ARIA stands as a remarkably potent and valuable augmentation to the existing web technology stack, and it truly warrants a more comprehensive, dedicated exploration entirely on its own merits and complexities. We genuinely encourage you to delve deeper into the functionalities of this platform, particularly if your development team is currently encountering difficulties in consistently applying proper semantic HTML elements, or is actively engaged in constructing a highly intricate and feature-rich application user interface that truly meets the complex requirements of your advanced application development project. ARIA roles and attribute technologies provide you with the absolutely essential tools that you absolutely need in order to ensure that your website or application is efficiently rendered, fully accessible, and usable for every single person who visits or uses it. These technologies play a critical role in making your digital environment more inclusive and user-friendly, catering to individuals with varying abilities and needs. You can find all the necessary files and exercises to practice with this video in the attached files.